We're going to bring on Josh
Hi,
Hill
everyone.
for our continuing segment, A Song of Dan and Josh, where myself, who has read A Song of Ice and Fire, George R. Martin's unfinished fantasy masterpiece, multiple times, and Josh Hill, who has never read this particular series of books, talk about it. We break it down chapter by chapter. What makes this series work? What makes it special? How does George R. R. Martin use things like, I don't know, motif and theme and words to convey his message? When does he succeed? When does he fail? Josh Hill, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Hello, everybody. Good to be back.
Yeah, good to be back indeed. All right, we are still on. Oh, and Teresa says wine is better than any Coca-Cola, which, yes, absolutely.
Wine is better than Coca-Cola?
Yeah, can I like that comment? I can. I did. Okay, great.
Isn't that like an apples and oranges situation where we're comparing
Nope.
soda
Any
to,
drink, wine is better than it.
to
That's pretty.
alcohol? Well, I mean, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying it seems a little unfair of a comparison.
I like it twice. Speaking of wine, what a
Yes.
great segue. We did a
Tyrion.
new Tyrion chapter, Tyrion III from A Clash of Kings.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought pretty juicy overall. So it's cool because last time we were with Arya 4 or whatever, and it was all action. It was Arya on the King's Road, sleeping in this hold fast, which is a word I just want you to remember. Cause
I remember it. Hold fast.
Okay, great. Okay,
That's a memory.
Gotta have those hold fast.
That one's going into the greatest hits montage.
And she gets attacked by the Gold Cloaks, and it's a whole action scene where she hacks the guy's hand, and she frees Jack in the ground. It's a fire, and she crawls through a tunnel. And now we have this Tyrion chapter where it's all him talking in rooms with people.
It is.
And which is I just really like about the books, and I almost feel sorry for making you read them this way,
Chapter by
chapter,
bit by bit.
Where really it's I think it's almost better to read them when you have these like changes of tone. It's fun to like read through it all in a way. But since we're reading like this, what do you think of this Tyrion chapter?
The Real Housewives chapter, where we've got all of the...
Yeah.
It's very a reality television show, where Cersei's got her thing, and we're talking about Stannis, and Stannis isn't around. Anytime Littlefinger and Varys are involved, there's going to be, like, petty talking behind your back drama, which I'm extremely here for in Westeros.
I am too.
It's amazing.
By the way, Julie says hi.
Oh, hi, Julie.
And also has like
Hi, everybody, but also
4
Julie.
wine glass emojis and 5 wine bottle emojis, which I'm going to like that comment too.
Well,
Okay.
it's noon somewhere, so
It's the 20th where she is.
that's true. Celebrating a new day. What's the future like?
Exactly. Anyway, so yeah, completely agree. Lots of fun
Yep.
gossip and just lots of good talks. Like, okay.
Yep.
So let me pose a number of dilemmas to you, because the first part of that chapter is all of them in the small council meeting, Cersei, Tyrion, Varys, Littlefinger, and I think Pycelle, talking out what to do about this whole Stannis situation. Stannis has made it known to everybody in the kingdoms. Joffrey is the bastard son of Cersei and Jaime. I'm the real king. He's not the real king. What are you going to do about it? And Cersei is freaking pissed off, as she would be.
Naturally.
Yes. Her idea is to issue an edict forbidding anyone to talk about Joffrey's incestuous birth, punishable by death, and Tyrion thinks it's folly. When you tear out a man's tongue, you are not proving him a liar, you're only telling the world that you fear what he might say. He wants to just let him talk, and that they'll get over it eventually, that if you don't try to suppress it, it's not going to be dirty and fun to whisper, so they're not going to be interested. Who's right there?
Yeah, let it go. Let the rumors fly like doves into the sky.
You don't agree with Cersei to chop off people's heads if they talk about it?
No, because that's an admission of guilt. With the lying by omission thing.
That's what I meant.
No, Tyrion's absolutely right. So don't cop to the lie. If you cop to the lie by saying you can't talk about it, you're admitting that it's true. And we've seen that. I mean, we always talk about politics on the show because,
especially in chapters like this.
Because Selkie, we are a political show.
Yes, we are deeply involved in the goings on. Who do you endorse? See, you want to go there? We shouldn't go there.
Oh, let's dive deep. But we've seen. I mean, we equate this to history before with the comparisons with the Dothraki and it not being necessarily a great representation of history. This is another example of being able to relate it to current times. Like you have, Trump can say whatever he wants, and literally everybody's like, don't say anything. But he's like, I'm just going to say it on the middle of the news. And everybody's like, oh,
But
wow.
we jump all over. We talk about that's all we talk about.
We do, but then you forget about it. You're like, oh, that's not a big
That's
deal.
very true.
Like, he has a rap sheet of things he said that are both stupid and illegal that are so long. And that's
boy.
kind of the thing
Yeah,
with
boy.
Cersei, where it's like, don't make people not talk about this. Otherwise, you're going to, there's a way to get away with this.
That's Tyrion's idea.
Yeah.
That, it's gossip.
And Tyrion's
it'll
the
go
smarter.
away.
Tyrion's always been the smarter.
Which,
of the two.
as Julie says, Tyrion was smart in those days. And Corinne says, I love that quote. It's a great quote.
Mm-hmm.
But how about Littlefinger sprinkled to it? Because he takes it further.
Of
He
course
not
he does.
only wants them, not only doesn't want people to punish people about it, he agrees with Tyrion that, okay, yeah, don't punish them. That'll just prove that you have something to hide. He wants to spread his own lie. Or, it's not a lie that Joffrey is incestuous birth, but
No, he wants to counter it.
His idea is, okay, so to make this look like gossip, let's make up a rumor and spread it around.
The fool.
And he wants the fool. Did you get this bit? This
I
bit
did,
was
yeah.
pretty intense.
It was.
Okay, so his plan is, let's spread a rumor that Shireen, Stannis' daughter, the father is actually Patchface, the mentally brain-damaged court jester in Stannis' court. And that Stannis has been cuckolded by his wife, who apparently nobody likes. And, they all say these horrible things, but, like, that's easy to believe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's awful, she's awful. Like, only a fool would have her, et cetera, et cetera. Which is just, it's really mean-spirited and awful, but...
It's extremely Littlefinger. That's the thing.
And as he says, and the best lies contain within them nuggets of truth, enough to give the listener pause. As it happens, this fool is utterly devoted to the girl and follows her everywhere. They even look somewhat alike. Shireen has a mottled, half-frozen face as well. Because she has that disease.
The stone face. Yeah, what is it, grayscale? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah. So...
And the jester has it because he, suffered a huge head injury or drowned at sea for a while, and he is, all messed up in the face.
Yeah,
and
this
he's going to
is-
take advantage of this. So how do you feel about that?
leave it to Littlefinger to go from 0 to 60 in no time at all. No.
Cersei loves the idea, by the way.
Of course she loves the idea. There are times on the show where you...
She has this line where she's like, "Oh, Littlefinger, you're so wicked." It's
that
just so fun.
Those two, let me tell you. But there's times on the show where you kind of think Littlefinger, maybe he's not that bad. Maybe he's just angling for his own gain, which he clearly is. But it's I can kind of the same way we made Cersei a sympathetic character many, many times in our heads before the final season,
Right.
And even before the Walk of Shame, we were kind of battling with this. Is she kind of a sympathetic? Can we have empathy with her?
Yeah.
And he felt that way with Littlefinger, and this is a reminder of...
Did you feel that way with Littlefinger? When?
No, but if you could come to the line of saying, can we have empathy with this character? Because
Okay.
are all these characters truly purely evil? This kind of reminds me, or reinforces the idea that Littlefinger's he's a cockroach.
Littlefinger's pretty rotten.
He's rotten is putting it nicely. This
And
is
Tyrion
a
agrees.
terrible thing.
Tyrion thinks during that, because Tyrion's plan was pretty smart. It didn't go this far, and Tyrion looks at that and thinks, this one is more dangerous than I knew. He's seen, that, although he says, that's actually a good idea, but we shouldn't do it. It's for Tyrion, that crosses a line.
Yeah, well, it's the idea of spreading the lie, the counter lie to the Joffrey stuff and equating it to Stannis, good idea in theory. And I think Tyrion was up to it to that point, and then Littlefinger, because he's Littlefinger, goes the extra step further to explain it the way that he did, which that's the point where Tyrion and everybody else is like, nah, I'm good. I'm out. This is... Yeah, you were onto something, and then you went a little bit too far.
But they're going to do it, I think. Again, Cersei is into it.
Well, of course.
Okay, beyond that, really fun scene. I liked that scene a lot. I like the Dothraki scenes. Tyrion goes and has a mysterious meeting in his solar, another stupid medieval word that you can learn. I think solar means in your apartments in a castle, your kind of meetings sitting area. It's not in the vocab list. I didn't put it down there. Anyway, he's meeting with all these goldsmiths, iron workers, craft types, and they're making him giant chains. This is not in the books. Or rather, not in the show. What do you think he's making them
What the
for?
hell are those things? I don't know.
Yeah.
I had the same thought. I was like,
This is interesting, yeah, because this is not in the show. This is
giant chains. I'm trying to think of what is that unit of like what's a giant chain? Are we talking? Because my
Like,
immediate thing was,
yay, like a link this big?
okay, because my immediate thought was, because I went completely, because I didn't remember this, and then I'm equating it to things in the
Yeah.
show. I'm like, well, is this for like?
You're not crazy.
Is this like?
This was just straight up cut.
Yeah, I was like, was this foreshadowing like Tyrion knows that dragons might be on the horizon? Are we like chains for like big chains? Are
Oh,
we talking
good.
just like chains like, you know?
Let's just leave it there because you don't know what's happening. We'll find out later ourselves. Blah, 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 blah. It's not any of that. Here's the hint. It's integrated into a thing that does happen on the show. On the show, they just do it without the chains.
Oh, okay, interesting.
They just cut the chains, which they don't really need them.
I'm in.
So we'll see it. And it's also another fun example of him fighting against his sister, because Cersei told all these people to go make armor and swords. And surprise, surprise, she threatened them with death if they didn't. And
Seems to be her
Tyrion has
thing.
this, she loves that. And Tyrion's doing this thing where, no, make chains, and if you don't, I'll threaten you with death. So, I mean, these poor craftspeople, by the way, who just, like,
Real
no
rock and
wonder they all
hard
hate the
place.
Lannister family. I mean, if the brother's not threatened with death, sister is, it's hard to live under a Lannister regime.
Yeah, poor. All they're trying to do is make a living too.
All they want to do is
They're just trying to put
wrought
food on the
iron
table for their families, putting away for the college fund. Like,
the college fund. Yeah, the
a rough life.
Citadel fund.
the Citadel.
And there is I like the one bit where the one like kind of really successful fancy iron worker is like, I will make you a beautiful set of armor. I'm above making chains. He's like, yeah, do it, or I'm going to have you fed to
In the
dogs.
hierarchy of making chainmail or whatever he's making.
Yeah, iron workers. There are richer iron workers than others, I'm sure.
I suppose.
Like he's got like a cloak and everything, and the others are all like just wearing. And the others like snicker when he gets told off. You can tell like in the ironworker community of King's Landing, everyone hates that guy.
Oh,
Which I think is really
that's the
great.
spin-off that I want. About the ironworkers of King's Landing.
I mean, I think
That's the gritty sitcom that I want, the dramedy.
I
Give me
agree.
that. Give me that, HBO. That's what I need.
I mean, I like that stuff because it like suggests all this kind of life happening right beyond the limits of the pages.
The world
that-
building, yeah.
Yeah, like that when these ironworkers go home, they talk shit about this jackass iron guy that nobody likes, and he
Like,
goes
oh,
home to his
Paul's
family.
at it
Yeah.
again. He's
Yeah.
talking about how he's
Frickin'
better than
Paul.
all of us.
Exactly. So I like that. I like that we have these little moments that show us there's more to it. And the chapter ends with Tyrion going to a brothel.
Surprise, surprise. Talk about surprise,
Chataya's.
surprise.
But again, surprise in the surprise.
It is.
He goes in, he meets Chataya, who is the madam.
Mm-hmm.
There's some weird talk about sex that I don't know if we want to talk about or not, where George R. Martin like kind of sexualizes these like young black girls, where they say like, in our culture, it's perfectly natural to have sex, and yada yada. I'm like, I'll just stay away from that.
Yeah, that's George R. R. Martin in his cabin in the woods.
Sometimes I do read this and picture George R. R. Martin writing it out like that kind of stuff, and I get a little uncomfortable. But
I had similar thoughts about that.
right, and I mean, I'll be honest, it might get worse at points. We'll just have to deal with that as we come to it. But the plot point of it. Oh, by the way, Harold says, please move the Lannister banner. No, Lannisters forever. That's right.
Oh, man.
I'll have it. I like the Lannisters. Anyway, the point of this scene is that Tyrion goes into the brothel, goes into a room with a prostitute, the madam's daughter, and the idea is, it's kind of written as you think he's going to sleep with her.
Yeah.
But then he goes into a cupboard, pulls a secret thing, goes
Plot
down into a
twist.
tunnel, and it's actually, he wants people to see him going into a brothel, thinking this is where he is, but really he's going to a secret tunnel that Varys knows, because Varys knows all this crap, and he's going out to Shay's place, the place he bought for Shay on the side of the city. The idea being, he's into Shay. He can't let anybody know he's into Shay. He's keeping her a secret. So this is the measure he has to take to get to her in secret. Good idea?
Endearing. It endears Tyrion further to us because it's like, oh, look at it. He's going all the way out of his way to go see his lover.
Is it smart?
I mean, it's necessary, I think. I don't know. It's as smart as it can be. Like, he's trying, so...
Okay, fair enough.
Putting, it's a ruse. So how smart can ruses be? I guess.
It's pretty smart. He is trusting Varys to help him with it. That's part of it, because, he doesn't know this secret whore passage is here. Varys has to tell him. And Varys, again, Master of Disguise, shows up again. Tyrion's like, even his walk is different that when he's there. Do you wish they would have kept that? Do you wish Varys would have been a Master of Disguise?
That would have been nice. Yeah,
Would
but
have been kind of interesting.
It's also very striking the way that he looks in the show, so it's very memorable.
That's true. It
Which
is
you can't
very
say
iconic.
about a kind of pudgy, bald white guy. Nothing about that is memorable. Somehow they made it memorable. So
Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah, they go through the tunnel, they get in a horse, and the final line, I think, is, they're just talking about Lord Varys. Sometimes I feel as though you're the best friend I have in King's Landing. Sometimes I feel you are my worst enemy. And Varys replies, how odd, I think quite the same of you. So they're still circling each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's about where we end.
it's a good chapter.
It was a good chapter. It was fun. And I was some other fun bits I liked. So we talked about how Tyrion is, battering the iron workers into making him his chains, which, spoiler alert, is for the war effort. He has this bit where...
I like how you dangled that carrot, and then 5 minutes later, you're just all right, here's the goods.
It's important to my next point. He also notes that he's doing everything he can to keep the city fed, but wherever he goes, people still look at him suspiciously.
Yeah.
He is trying to defend them. What does he have to do to get respect, or can he? Is this just the price? Is this just inevitable? Can he be beloved by the people?
I would certainly like it, but I don't think he can. There's effort can be made, but there's a stigma around him that I don't think it's ever gonna be lifted. Because then it gets to a thing where it's if it comes down, push comes to shove, and you're put in a situation where it's Tyrion or Cersei,
Sure.
Cersei can help you out a lot more than Tyrion would. Even in the idea of Cersei has more power, outward power, and Tyrion doesn't have that. So
Yeah.
I could see people easily siding against him.
He's trying. And again,
I
did say that, you're trying to keep the city fed, but you did threaten death to those iron workers who were you put them in a possible situation.
Yeah.
So,
Got to bruise a few bananas before you.
I was looking for a metaphor like that, so sure, that'll go with it. Julie asks, whatever happened to the dude in the crate that Varys brought to Westeros? Not in the books, I don't think. He does not do that in the books. They add that in. So who knows? I assume he killed him brutally. I just had to say this line, Littlefinger fingered his beard. I'm sure that there's a term for whatever that is in language. Repetition.
That's another one where I imagine George R. Martin just alone in the woods, just kind of giggling to himself.
Oh, totally. He wrote that. He's like,
he's like, I'm amused by this.
I'm hilarious.
Good for you, George.
It's not bad, but
it's not bad. But it's that's
you're
the
right.
thing. It's like, this is
I bet
clever.
he typed it and giggled to himself. I also like this little exchange from Tyrion and Bronn. Tyrion saying to Bronn, you sound almost a proper courtier. Next, you'll be kneeling. And Bronn simply says, F you, dwarf. That's it. Good repartee, those two.
I love
Bronn's
it.
fun. Anything else you noticed in this chapter?
No. I do appreciate
All right,
I do appreciate that you the header for the whole thing about Tyrion going to the brothel is work-life balance.
Yeah.
It's great.
I mean,
because it's not untrue.
It's totally true. I mean, he wants to keep Shay as his paramour, but he has to work really hard to get there. Is it worth it? And also, I mean, the point is that she represents a danger.
Yeah.
That if someone found out about Shay, they would 100% use her against him.
Oh, yeah.
Which they try to do. And they actually end up doing later when she appears at the trial. So he's putting all this in energy and investment into keeping her happy, buying her a house. In the end, she betrays him, and then he kills her. And it's an interesting journey about it, because she's quite different in the books than she's in the show.
Okay.
So we'll see how that plays out as it goes on.
Interesting. You going to spoil that for me too, or are you actually going to let me read it?
I mean, you already know what happens. And just say she's different. I'll spoil it right now. She's not as nice. She doesn't actually love him in the books. In the book, she's clearly just in it for the money.
That's like a soul-crushing spoiler, Salky.
It's not really a spoiler. I mean, but by this point, they had already kind of been affectionate with each other. In the books, it's pretty clear. In the books, it's more. I think it's more clear that it's not a good decision on Tyrion's part.
Okay.
In the show, they actually love each other, so you can get why he's doing this. In the books, she's in it for the money. He knows she's in it for the money. But he wants it anyway because he has his little dwarf heart yearns.
This has just made me sad, Selkie. What chapter are you reading next week?
Oh, we are reading, I believe, a Bran chapter.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then another Tyrion chapter, because Tyrion dominates this book. All right. She never loved him, show or book, says Stephanie. We can talk about that as it comes up.
2 weeks.
Anyway,
the next Tyrion chapter. I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, 2 weeks next Tyrion chapter. Yes, and then Bran chapter next week. We'll see you next week with Bran whatever. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a lovely evening.